Good morning. It's Wednesday, December the 2nd, and this is The Drill. Thank you. The prayer of the day. Dear Lord, please let the newly elected and re-elected Republicans do what is best for the country and their constituents ahead of what is best for them. Amen. Welcome to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there. I'm Ron, your host, and the only true conservative in the United States today. Who is the true conservative? First and foremost, he's realistic. Secondly, he's God-fearing. The true conservative is the man who follows his plan. He's appropriate. He's the person who has the courage of his convictions and is confident in what he knows. He's the person that subordinates politics to reality. He's not selfish, but minds his own business. He acts like an adult. He is patriotic and uses common sense. He's judgmental and moralizes. He refuses to speculate, speaks clearly and definitively, and is not afraid to say no. He's open-minded, asking why rather than why not. He's consistent, credible, and influential, not ashamed of his existence, unafraid to learn or correct his mistakes. He is a normal American, and he is better than the socialist. He is a better friend, father, brother, family member, and a better person, period. You have to know that being a true conservative is best, or you're wasting your time. Additional examples of what it means to be a true conservative can be heard by listening to John Cobelt and Ken Champeau on The John and Ken Show on KFI AM 640, Monday through Friday from 2 to 6 p.m. Pacific. My podcast is short, approximately 5 to 20 minutes long, because shorter podcasts are easier to download and listen to. The biggest socio-political influences in my life are my parents, my teachers, Hugh Hewitt, Glenn Beck, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Dennis Prager, Buck Sexton, Joe Pags, The Enlightenment, Ayn Rand, and Dr. Mortimer Adler. My podcast is made available through Spreaker and can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. I can be reached at thedrill12@gmail.com. Today, getting tricked with the connotative use of words, where do we stand, the 6 commandments, quote of the day, how to win, conservative vocabulary, bring back, how to think about mainstreaming abortion, conservative aphorisms, socialist aphorisms, and socialist vocabulary. All that when I come back. Thank you. Another way to get tricked is with the connotative use of words. This is the way that the left pulls its cons. A good con doesn't just dump their story on you. They start off with something plausible and real, and then slowly move you farther and farther away from reality until you'll believe anything. And the left uses the connotative use of words rather than the denotative. Denotative, the word cool is a good example for connotative and denotative. The denotative use of the word cool is in reference to temperature. Something is cool, for instance, to the touch. The connotative use of the word cool is about attitude. Wow, isn't he cool? Isn't that cool? And so it's those are the two different ones. So if they're going to go ahead and lead you astray, and you start with a conversation in which you're talking about cool as a word that means temperature, but they start talking about cool as though it was referring to an attitude or something that was in style, then they've successfully gone ahead and changed the subject without being overt about it, without giving notice, without saying, oh, well, I want to talk about something else now. So they just start using the connotative use of the word, and then pretty soon you're speaking and talking about something they want to talk about rather than something you want to talk about. So switching between the connotative and denotative use of the words is a subtle form of changing the subject. Like I said, if I'm using the word cool, let me see, and in its denotative sense about temperature, and the lefty continues the conversation using the word cool in its connotative sense, attitude. They're able to change the subject without appearing to change the subject, resulting in frustration and confusion on the part of the conservative. Politicians use this technique every day. If they don't want to deal with a particular subject, but they don't want to say no comment, or they want to change the subject but don't want to make it obvious that they're changing the subject, then they'll use this kind of a tactic. So where do we stand? The Pennsylvania Appeals Court denied President Trump's appeal to decertify Pennsylvania's election results, and the case should now go to the Supreme Court. Sidney Powell, or the Trump administration, has filed lawsuits in Michigan and Georgia. Republicans have a 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court. Republicans have gained at least 8 seats in the House of Representatives, with Mike Garcia being the latest Republican to win his race. And actually what I've heard is that it is a, I guess, 218 to 213 right now, that the Republicans are as high as 213, and so that the margin is about 5 or 6 seats. Is razor thin for the Democrats. The Senate's currently 50-48 in favor of the Republicans, with 2 races outstanding in Georgia. Republicans have 27 governorships to the Democrats' 23. Republicans control 55 of 99 state legislative chambers. Voters in 4 more states made the wrong choice and legalized the recreational use of marijuana. Extremists in the state of California are creating a ballot measure to decriminalize magic mushrooms, heroin, and cocaine. The monster that has been arraigned for shooting 2 Los Angeles sheriff's deputies should, if there's any real justice, get the death penalty. George Soros still is not dead yet, but I sure wish he were. No law enforcement union has been decertified, and no laws shielding officers from prosecution have yet been repealed, and that is dangerous, because it is more likely to continue problems with police departments and their communities than not. Let me see. The most unpatriotic piece of legislation, the Patriot Act, is still the law of the land, mocking the Constitution and creating the blueprint for the autocratic rule in this pandemic. New York Times v. Sullivan continues to encourage news people to be super citizens who can use unnamed sources to slander and defame people at will without fear of consequences, meaning that they can't be fired, they can't be sued, they can't be criminally prosecuted. New York Times v. Sullivan should be overturned. Where's the expose on the Washington Press Corps? Where's nonprofit news? The communist flu continues. Blue Cross and Kaiser Permanente continue to take our premiums while they use lockdowns to avoid paying claims. Governor Newsom has enacted a racist scheme to keep Californians locked down indefinitely. When I come back, conservative vocabulary. Thank you. There's more to being conservative than how you vote. If you want to be a true conservative, you have to act, think, and talk like a true conservative. Hence, conservative vocabulary. No. Go back. Acceptance. Mind your own business. From now on. Right. Wrong. Should. Good. Bad. Evil. Reality. Certainty. Morality. Beauty. And polity. These terms are conservative because they're realistic. How to win? Follow the conservative commandments. Number 1, thou shalt not be neutral. Number 2, thou shalt not be pragmatic. Number 3, thou shalt not be idealistic. Number 4, thou shalt not be materialistic. Number 5, thou shalt not be skeptical. Materialism is not just running around chasing money all the time, but thou shalt not be materialistic in that you're not going to pretend that the only things that are real are things that we can touch and feel. Concepts and abstractions are just as real. Justice is real. When some lefty asks where the evidence of election fraud is, the best answer is, you mean you don't see it? When are you going to open your eyes? Quote of the day, in the case of good books, the point is not to see how many of them you can get through, but how many can get through to you, unquote. Mortimer Adler. As conservatives, we make the presumption for the status quo and change only when there's obvious or prima facie case for change. Therefore, the following terms should be brought back into civilized conversation. Bring back normality, sanity, privacy, property rights, the pre-1970 filibuster, outlawry, single-income households, integration, parenting, and along with it, corporal punishment, the primacy of existence, certainty of knowledge, and universal rights and wrongs. Bring back principled behavior, masculinity and femininity, Adam 12, John F. Kennedy, the gold standard, pre-HMO medical care, nonprofit news, civil service, the term stupid question, arguments and fights, the cultural influence of the church and the Boy Scouts. Bring back the Lions Club and the Rotary Club. Bring back bowling, bring back linear thinking, bring back smart. How to think about the mainstreaming of abortion. The left refuses to acknowledge right and wrong. If they did, then they wouldn't be socialists, because they would be able to immediately ascertain that socialism is wrong. So the left uses dialectic rather than debate to clash right and wrong. And what they come up with is the middle. And the left is constantly reminding us about the importance of the middle. Anything or anyone not in the middle is extreme. Notice that's not bad, just extreme. The question is, where is the middle? Is idea A in the middle? Is idea B in the middle? This political position, that political position, what is in the middle and who decides? The left does. The left simply declares any idea or political position that they take to be in the middle and mainstream, and anything else is extreme by default. Decades ago, after the fall of the Soviet Union, the left in this country decided that all elections should be decided on the issues, and then went ahead and decided what the issues would be. One of those issues was abortion. Not life, but abortion. This made abortion the de facto status quo, in the middle, mainstream, and anyone who knew better was marginalized. In other words, the left used psycholinguistic tricks to put conservatives in the unenviable position of proving the negative, i.e. proving why abortion should not be legal. The way to beat this trick is to make the presumption for the real status quo, life. Demand that the left prove why abortion should be legal. Remember that if the left is going to win, you have to make them earn it. Be of good cheer. The universe is benevolent, and success is to be expected. Therefore, the left has no authority, no power, and they cannot win. Think about it. Conservative aphorisms. Why? Who asked you? Who cares? Who is we? Are you sure? How do you know? No, you don't understand. No, you are not listening. You're not a leader or a change agent. Who died and left you in charge? Who told you that? You don't know? When are you going to figure it out? And my personal favorite, get off of my lawn. Socialist aphorisms. Subvert the dominant paradigm, question authority, question everything, coexist. Up next, socialist vocabulary. Thank you. Since your enemies don't wear uniforms, how do you identify the socialists in your midst? By their vocabulary. Socialist vocabulary includes such words as stakeholders, Latinx, empower, going forward, mansplaining, politically correct, supportive, hegemony, organic, grassroots, code word, dog whistle, buy-in, pushback, stupid, stuck on stupid, walk it back, and the masses. The ICE tip line is 866-347-2423. The White House switchboard is 202-456-1111 or 202-456-1414. The Senate House switchboard is 202-224-5611. 3121. Back in a minute. Thank you. On the next episode, I want to be Catholic, but I have to get away from the church. That concludes another episode of The Drill. Be honest, be smart, be beautiful, and always ask yourself, what is real? How do I know? And what should I do about it? I'm Ron, and that's The Drill.